Meet the greatest F-14 pilot in history. Colonel Muhammad Ryan, at just 25 years old, soars into the sky. His confidence is backed by a legendary career 8 victories in aerial combat, an unmatched warrior, an invincible pilot, or so it seemed. But fate had other plans. In a mission that would change his life forever, his plane crossed paths with one of the most lethal F-14 squadrons the world had ever known. In the skies, the leader of that legendary F-14 squadron not only secured victory, but left an indelible mark on the history of aviation. Over time, he would be recognized as the greatest F-14 pilot of all time, and the second best jet fighter pilot in the world. But here's the twist: he wasn't American. That title belongs to Iranian Brigadier General Jalil Sandi. How did the formidable F-14 Tomcat, a symbol of American power, end up in the hands of one of the U.S. greatest rivals? What led Jalil Sandi to become a legend in the skies, surpassing even the highest standards? This is a story where reality defies everything Hollywood could imagine. A tale of war, strategy, and a man who redefined what it means to be an elite pilot. What happened that day? How did a pilot considered indomitable fall? Discover the story behind the fall of a legend, where courage, strategy, and tragedy intertwine in an epic duel in the skies. Don't miss this story that redefines heroism and adversity. Get ready to discover how Jalil Sandi became the greatest F-14 pilot in history. Press play and join us on this epic journey. In the 1970s, Iran faced a strategic challenge, protecting its vast mountainous territory and covering long distances with the latest generation combat aircraft. Thus, an ambitious project was born to equip the Imperial Iranian Air Force with the best available combat aircraft in the world. The solution? The iconic F-14 Tomcat. But it wasn't easy. The United States hesitated to sell its most advanced technology to a third world country. However, Iran played its cards wisely. Thanks to the support of the U.S. Navy and Grumman, who were seeking funds to sustain the costly F-14 program amid budget cuts, the deal reached Congress. It was argued that Iran needed advanced interceptors to face threats like the Soviet MiG-25, which was freely flying over Iranian airspace. Finally, in January 1974, the sale of 30 F-14 Tomcats and 424 AIM-54 Phoenix missiles for over $300 million was authorized. But Iran didn't stop there. Just months later, they increased the order to 80 Tomcats and 714 Phoenix missiles, along with spare parts and engines for 10 years, ensuring their long-term operability. This ambitious project was dubbed Persian King, marking a unique chapter in aviation history. In 1979, the Shah's regime was overthrown, and Ayatollah Khomeini took power, cutting all ties with the West, especially the U.S. The change was devastating for the United States. One of its most advanced aircraft, the F-14 Tomcat, was now in the hands of a hostile nation. Before leaving the country, American technicians and mechanics attempted to sabotage the planes, but the fate of Iran's F-14S would not be so short-lived. In February 1979, the Iranian Revolution reached its peak, but just a year later, in September 1980, another threat emerged. Saddam Hussein, the president and future dictator of Iraq, launched a brutal offensive against Iran, marking the beginning of a long and bloody war. How did the F-14S survive sabotage, and what role did they play in Iran's defense during the war against Iraq? By 1980, the Iranian armed forces were in ruins. The revolution had left the Air Force in chaos, weakened by mass purges and the imprisonment of key officers. One of them was Jalil Sandi, an exceptional pilot who, despite the adversities, would play a crucial role in the history of Iran's F-14S. When the war against Iraq broke out, the situation was critical. The operational capability of the F-14 Tomcat was virtually null. While Iraqi MiG-25s freely crossed Iranian airspace, the regime of Ayatollah Khomeini understood that they could not afford to abandon these powerful jets. The mission was clear. The F-14S had to return to the skies, and quickly. As Iran faced chaos and uncertainty, F-14 pilots who had been imprisoned during the revolution were finally freed. From the ashes, a force of 64 loyal pilots and 124 radar operators was gathered to lead a desperate counteroffensive. Among them was Jalil Sandy, a man whose destiny was about to change the history of military aviation. The former Imperial Iranian Air Force had vanished, and Sandy rejoined the newly formed Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force, led by Lieutenant Colonel Abad Bababey, known for enforcing strict discipline and loyalty to the regime. Despite being considered potentially disloyal due to his past, Sandy proved his worth with outstanding performance, earning the respect of his peers and superiors. In a unique scenario as an F-14 pilot in a prolonged war, Sandy became a legend. With 11 confirmed kills, including 8 verified by U.S. intelligence and 3 additional ones corroborated by Iranian and Iraqi records, his list of victories includes 4 MiG-25S, B, N, F, and ML versions, 4 MiG-21S, MF, and BIS versions, and 3 Mirage F-1 EQs. These feats solidified him as the most successful F-14 pilot in history, leaving an indelible mark in the annals of modern aviation. Jalil Sandy not only stood out as the most successful F-14 pilot in history, but also left his mark as the second-best jet fighter pilot with the most confirmed kills in the world. With 11 victories to his name, he surpassed the renowned Iraqi Colonel Mohammed Ryan, who shot down 10 enemy aircraft with his MiG-25 PB during the Iran-Iraq War. In an ironic twist of fate, Ryan, one of Iraq's top pilots, was shot down by an F-14 from the unit led by Sandy, further cementing his legend. After the war, action for Iran's F-14S decreased, but Jalil Sandy continued to serve his country. His talent and dedication led him to the position of head of air planning and organization in the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. His life ended in April 2001 at the age of 49. But his legacy lives on as a symbol of skill, resilience, and leadership in the history of military aviation. The F-14 Tomcat, one of the most iconic aircraft in military history, closed its chapter in the U.S. Navy in 2006, marking the end of an era in which it dominated the skies. Although it continues to serve in Iran, the future of the F-14 is uncertain, especially after the lifting of the arms embargo in October 2020, allowing Iran to acquire new combat aircraft. No other F-14 pilot has ever challenged Jalil Sandy's incredible kill record, who left an unforgettable legacy as the most successful pilot in the history of the Tomcat. His skill and leadership shone in a conflict that defined not only a generation of aviators, but also the potential of this legendary aircraft. The F-14 leaves us with an incredible journey of victories, challenges, and heroism that marked a before and after in military aviation. If you're passionate about history and the great feats of the skies, subscribe to History of War, like, and share this video to keep alive the memory of these epic narratives. Your support helps us bring you the most exciting stories.